Have you ever been ripped out of your sleep by a sudden stabbing pain in your calf so sharp it feels like your muscle is twisting itself in half? I see it almost every day in my practice. Men and women over 60 healthy in every other way, suddenly trapped in a midnight spasm that steals their rest, their confidence and their mornings. The truth is, it's not age that does this to you, it's what you do quietly unknowingly every single day. The way you sit, drink, eat and even sleep. Habits so ordinary they slip under your radar until one night your leg locks and the pain reminds you that your body has been whispering warnings for years. I remember a patient who thought those cramps were just part of getting older. They weren't. Once he changed a few simple habits, the pain that haunted him for a decade disappeared in weeks. That's why I made this video. Because those same silent choices might be draining the strength from your legs tonight, and the solution, I promise, is simpler than you think. So let's pull back the curtain on the 7 everyday habits quietly tightening your muscles while you sleep. Here's what most people miss: your muscles don't scream because you're getting older, they're begging for water. I've watched it happen hundreds of times. The patient swears they drink plenty, yet their body's running on empty by sunset. When you don't hydrate steadily, your blood thickens like slow syrup in winter pipes. The delicate electrical signals that tell a muscle when to tighten or relax start to misfire. That's when a harmless stretch at 2 AM turns into a bolt of pain that makes you gasp. A 2023 study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that adults over 60 who drink less than 48 ounces of water a day have a 42% higher risk of nighttime cramps. Why? Because aging dulls your thirst signal. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. I think of one woman who gardened every afternoon in Florida heat. She'd promised to catch up on fluids at dinner, but by then the damage was done. When she began sipping 6 to 8 ounces every hour instead, the midnight spasms faded within a week. So if your legs are screaming at night, it may not be age, it's drought. Your fix: spread your hydration through the day, stop heavy drinking an hour before bed, and add a squeeze of lemon or a pinch of sea salt for balance. But water isn't the only thing that stills your blood. There's another silent culprit that tightens your muscles even when you're perfectly hydrated, and it's something we all do far too often. Even if you drink perfectly, it won't save you from what hours of sitting do to your legs. I call it the silent tourniquet. When you plant yourself in a recliner or at a desk for most of the day, blood flow to your lower body slows, like traffic at rush hour. Muscles depend on a constant stream of oxygen and nutrients to stay calm. Without it, they stiffen and misfire. Research from the American Journal of Medicine shows that adults who sit more than 6 hours a day are almost twice as likely to experience circulation-related cramps as those who move every 30 minutes. That's the same vascular risk as smoking a pack of cigarettes daily, just without the smell. I remember a retired accountant who loved his afternoon novels. He'd read for hours motionless until his calves seized at night so violently that he described it as a knife twisting from the inside. All we changed were 2 habits. He set a timer to stand every 40 minutes and flexed his ankles before bed. Within a week, his cramps dropped from nightly to almost none. Your muscles are living engines. They rust when left idle. Even a 1-minute march in place or a quick stroll to the kitchen restarts the flow. Think of it as charging a battery. You lose power when you stay plugged into the chair. Still movement alone can't outrun every cramp. Sometimes the very fuel you feed your body turns against you, and that's where our next hidden trigger hides in what's sitting on your dinner plate tonight. Every night your dinner can either heal your muscles or quietly sabotage them. Most people never suspect their evening plate, yet it's one of the biggest triggers behind nighttime cramps. Let me explain. Salt is a master of disguise. It makes food taste alive, but in excess it makes your blood heavy with sodium, pulling water out of your cells like a sponge. That pressure builds up inside the tiny vessels that feed your calves. When those vessels swell, the muscles beneath are squeezed, starved of oxygen, and primed for a midnight revolt. Then comes alcohol, the charming guest who steals your vitamins on the way out. A few beers or glasses of wine can strip your body of B vitamins like thiamine and folate nutrients. Your nerves need to control muscle relaxation. Over time, that cocktail of salt and alcohol leaves your legs weak, irritable, and ready to cramp at the smallest trigger. I think of a patient from Louisiana who swore his evening gumbo and 2 cold beers were harmless tradition. When he swapped the beers for sparkling water with lemon and cut the salt by half, his nightly cramps nearly disappeared in 2 weeks. His energy returned because his blood wasn't fighting its own chemistry anymore. The truth is, your muscles crave balance, not restriction. Add herbs like rosemary or garlic for flavour instead of salt. Keep alcohol as an occasional guest, not a nightly ritual. But here's the twist. Food isn't just what you chew, it's also what you do. And even if your diet is spotless, there's another daily habit that can quietly drain strength from your legs, one that has nothing to do with what's on your plate, but everything to do with how you move, or don't. The human body was never built for stillness. Yet, as we age, comfort becomes a quiet trap. A soft chair, a long afternoon, a few hours of television, it all feels harmless until your legs start betraying you. I often tell my patients muscles are like friendships. Ignore them long enough, and they stop showing up when you need them. When you move less, your muscle fibers shrink, circulation slows, and toxins that should be flushed out begin to linger. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that adults who get under 30 minutes of daily movement are nearly twice as likely to suffer nighttime cramps compared to those who stay moderately active. The science is simple: motion pumps blood. Blood carries oxygen. Oxygen keeps muscles relaxed. One man I treated had given up his evening walks after retirement. "I'm tired," he said. "I've earned my rest." Within months, his calves hardened like rope, and the cramps came nightly. Once he resumed short strolls around the block, just 10 minutes after dinner the spasms faded like bad dreams. His words still stay with me. "I didn't know my legs missed me." If you can't walk far, even simple actions help. Ankle circles in your chair, gentle leg lifts while watching TV, slow marches beside the counter. Every contraction wakes up the tissues that hold you steady. But movement alone isn't the full picture, because just as the right steps can rebuild your strength, one innocent afternoon habit can quietly undo all that progress. It's warm, comforting, and deceptively energizing, and it might be draining the very minerals your muscles rely on. Few things feel as comforting as that late afternoon cup of coffee or tea. It's a small ritual of warmth, a quiet reward after a long day. But for many of my older patients, that very comfort becomes the thief of their sleep, and the spark behind their night cramps. Caffeine has a clever way of disguising fatigue while quietly dehydrating you. It acts as a mild diuretic, pushing water and electrolytes, especially magnesium and potassium, out through the kidneys. These are the minerals that keep muscle fibers relaxed and balanced. Without them, those fibers twitch unpredictably, like frayed wires, sending stray sparks in the dark. A 2022 report in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 60 who consumed caffeine after 3 p.m. were 38% more likely to experience nocturnal muscle cramps. It isn't just about sleep disruption, it's about chemistry. When caffeine lingers in your system, it stimulates the nervous system, keeping muscles in a subtle state of tension long after your mind has gone to rest. I remember a woman from Oregon who loved her strong black tea at 5 o'clock sharp. She believed it helped her relax and chat with neighbours. Once she switched to chamomile tea and added a small glass of water, before dinner her nightly cramps dropped dramatically. "I never realised my tea habit was stealing my sleep," she told me, smiling with relief. Caffeine in the right amount isn't the enemy. It's timing that matters. Keep your coffee for the morning, enjoy your tea before noon, and let your evenings belong to calm and hydration. But even when you fix your drinking habits, there's another nightly mistake many overlook, one that begins the moment your head hits the pillow and your legs settle under the sheets. Most people think of sleep as the body's repair time, but for many of my patients, it's when their circulation quietly shuts down. The way you position your legs in bed can either help blood glide freely or choke it off without you realising. When you curl tightly on your side or cross one leg over the other, you compress the very veins that are supposed to carry oxygen to your calves. Hours later, the muscle wakes up hungry for blood, and that's when the cramp hits, sharp, sudden, cruel. Medical research in vascular medicine calls poor leg circulation one of the strongest predictors of nocturnal cramps in adults over 60. The reason is mechanical, not mysterious. Starve the muscle of oxygen long enough, and it rebels. I once treated a man who slept like a pretzel, knees tucked, legs twisted. Every morning he woke stiff and sore. When I asked him to try sleeping on his back with a pillow beneath his knees, his cramps dropped from nightly to nearly none within 2 weeks. Another patient found relief by placing a soft pillow between her legs when sleeping on her side, keeping her hips aligned and her vessels open. The fix doesn't cost a dime, just awareness. Before bed, flex your ankles, gently point and circle your toes, and let gravity help, not hurt. Think of it as priming your circulation before the long stillness of sleep. Yet even perfect posture can't save you if your body lacks the raw materials to keep those muscles steady through the night. And that final culprit, the one hiding deep inside your bloodstream, might surprise you. Even if you fix your water movement, meals, caffeine and sleep, your muscles still depend on something deeper, what's flowing through your bloodstream. Every contraction and release relies on a precise balance of minerals, and when one goes missing, the whole system falters. Magnesium, potassium, calcium and vitamin D act like the electrical wiring of your muscles. Magnesium calms the nerves that signal your muscles to fire. Potassium balances fluid inside the cells. Calcium gives the go command for each contraction, while vitamin D makes sure that calcium actually gets absorbed and used. When any of these run low, your muscles behave like a house with flickering lights, unsteady and unpredictable. According to research from the New England Journal of Medicine, low magnesium alone can increase muscle cramp frequency by more than 40% in older adults. Another study from Osteoporosis International found that vitamin D deficiency not only weakens bones, but also amplifies nighttime muscle pain. I once met a man from North Carolina who lived on quick snacks, crackers, coffee and little else. His blood work revealed deficiencies in both vitamin D and magnesium. After adding leafy greens, a cup of milk at night and 15 minutes of morning sunlight, his nightly cramps nearly vanished within weeks. He told me I didn't take a pill. I just fed my body right. Food first, that's my rule. Bananas, oranges, spinach, yogurt, salmon and sunlight can rebuild what time has drained. Supplements can help, but they're a safety net, not the foundation. Because at the end of the day, nighttime cramps aren't a punishment of age, they're the body's plea for balance. And when you restore that balance, something remarkable happens, not just in your legs, but in your entire sense of vitality. When I think about all the patients I've met over the years, one truth stands out: aging isn't what weakens us. Neglect does. The body never stops listening, it only waits for us to respond. Tonight, your legs don't need medicine. They need movement, steady water, mindful meals, better rest, and the minerals that keep everything in tune. Small choices repeated daily become quiet acts of repair. So if you've been waking up in pain, take heart. Every habit we talked about can be changed starting today. Begin with one drink, water, earlier, stretch before bed or trade that evening beer for a calming tea. Within days, your muscles will remind you that healing is possible at any age. You deserve nights without pain, and mornings with confidence. And if this message spoke to you, save this video so you can revisit the steps anytime, share it with someone you love, because relief grows faster when it's shared. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, and join me here for more science-based ways to protect your health, strengthen your body and stay active for life. Tell me below, what's the one habit you'll start changing tonight?